here tonight. I mean, they're in full force. A rough guesstimate of the crowd, it looks like we have about 1,000 people here at historic Roosevelt Field. So it's a nice night for football. It doesn't get better than this. 65 degrees, perfect. It's great up here in the booth. It's nice out there in the stands. We hope you're enjoying it here at home.
A very early homecoming for Norristown this year, here in late September. And I mean, I guess as a result, you get this nice weather. We'll take it.
I wonder if the early homecoming is a function of them seeing Cheltenham on the roster. I mean, when you go to a team's house and you're the homecoming game,
it's not a
sign of, like, not disrespect, but they're taking it lightly, perhaps.
Well, we got a fresh quarter now, and they'll flip it out to Eric Waters. He's got a lot of room, and he picks up enough for a first down, it appears, as he picked up about 11.
89, Larry Smith did his job on that play, but the corner didn't come up and keep it contained. Roby's going to come up and seal that down. Looks like we're hearing a little White Stripes from the Cheltenham band.
Well, now it's Teddy Lester in the backfield for the Panthers. A little bit bigger and stronger, perhaps, than Waters, although he comes into motion and is in the backfield. But they give it to Lester, and Lester picks up about 3 or 4. So that'll bring up a second down situation for the Panthers of Cheltenham.
So with this 2nd and 4, I bring the pain if I'm the Eagles here. I bring a blitz and I try to disrupt some of the momentum that's going on in the backfield.
Once again, they have motion bringing Waters into the backfield, but they hand it off to Lester, and he's got nowhere to go. Pushed back for a loss.
Nice play by Battaglia right there. Really nice play by Battaglia.
I mean, the Cheltenham Panthers do have some weapons. I mean, we see Eric Waters and Teddy Lester. I mean, you got the thunder and lightning type of a thing going on there, and that's what their team is all about. That's their forte, is those two dangerous runners.
But whereas Cheltenham has 2 dangerous weapons, Norristown has like 6 or 7. So it's curious to see them not really being able to get those weapons on track right yet. But things can happen in a hurry with an offense as explosive as Norristown's.
Cropper rolls out, floats it out there, and it's nowhere near the intended target. Incomplete.
Terrible. You don't do that against Norristown. You don't throw up lame ducks. When you throw up lame ducks, they get shot down, usually by a pick 6 the other way by Roby.
So it'll be 4th and 4 for the Panthers. Neither offense putting up any points so far, but the Eagles, I would say, have been a little bit more promising.
Both defenses having a solid game so far. I mean, we can't overstate that enough. I like to see a good defensive struggle just as much as I like to see pedal-to-the-metal offenses. So it's been quality football here so far.
That's Denolfi and I believe Mayer back there. The punt is a liner. On a hop taken by Mayer. Burst of speed up to the 35, and he doesn't get much more than that. So a solid return from Mr. Do-Everything, Sheldon Mayer.
If there's one thing you don't want to do against the Eagles, if you had to pick one thing, it would be not kicking line drive returnable punts to their dangerous return men. The offense, Mayer's going to get his. Both Mayers are going to get theirs. But one of the things you can do in order to push them back and make it more difficult for them is to keep them at a good field position. Norristown's been getting the ball in really generous field position, and sooner or later, they're going to capitalize on it.
We've yet to see Norristown's quick strike ability as well, which has been their MO for a number of years. Mayer hands off to Sheldon, and Sheldon picks up about 5.
5 yards a carry. If you want that, I mean, it's dragging his average down some. It looks like we have a player down for the Eagles.
I believe that's number 56, Nico De Silvio, the starting senior center.
The starting senior center clutching his calf.
And he's an integral piece of this offensive line that's been so underrated in Sheldon Mayer's glory. So they really need him. I mean, he's the center and therefore, you know, and of course a senior, so therefore one of the leaders of this offensive line.
Looks like team doctor Nebulous, Coach Smith, and athletic trainer Dennis Flynn are looking at his right leg. And we'll see as he gets up what happens.
Well, Kyle McClure came into the game. McClure, a 5'9" sophomore, will come into the game for at least a play to replace him. And it looks like it's going to be more than that.
He's hobbling off. It's going to be more than a play because they're going to take a look at him and see what's going on. Now the center is an integral part of the offensive line, so we'll see here if it gets disrupted by the addition of a new element. I don't think it will because these guys practice hard, but it's something to look for.
Yeah, I remember last year they had a number of problems with their centers and their snaps at some times last year, so don't overlook it. A lot of times it's taken for granted, but here's Sheldon Mayer with a little stutter step and somehow worms his way all the way up to about the 47.
That's a piece of great running there by Sheldon Mayer. He follows his block and doesn't get greedy. He doesn't bounce it to the outside. He bounces out to the outside, they're stopping him for a 4-yard gain. What he does is he cuts it back up, makes a really nice play. I'm impressed.
And of course everybody knows about his speed, his agility, and all those things that go along with that. But I mean, in order to be a great running back, you need vision, and he certainly has that.
He has great vision, and we just can't say enough about him. He is an all-around solid football player. He's an old-school guy. He'll take a hit, but he has a lot of speed. He can get to the outside.
The Eagles once again moving Battaglia around. This time he's in the slot, but it's a handoff to Sheldon Mayer to the outside. He's got the 40, he's got the 30, and a little cutback, and he's all the way down to the 24-yard line.
Oh, my goodness! Tracy Presley, the demolition man, absolutely obliterates some silly little quarterback who had the temerity to get in his path. That was an unfortunate, shocking, and horrific thing to watch. Folks at home, I apologize because we don't have the TVMA signal come up. Man, hide your children. This is crazy. Tracy Presley with a really nice block on it.
Yeah. First and 10 for the Eagles. They hand it off. This is Dinolfi. He tries to squirm his way out of a tackle, but the fellow Panther tacklers are there. And Dinolfi's a guy that we saw, I mean, he carried the ball 5 or 6 times in the opener, and then they kind of went away from him. He had a solid game, and he averaged 4 or 5 yards a carry, and then they kind of went away from him. And I was wondering why that was, and now we see him back here again.
Seeing him back there, I mean, I was thinking Coach Smith wanted to see exactly what weapons he had in his arsenal. Dinolfi's young. Dinolfi is an 11th grader. He didn't get that many carries last year, but he's in a tailback now, and he's going to be following Presley's blocks. He's the tailback in the eye, so we'll see how Coach Smith uses him.
Mayer off the field for this play. Sheldon, that is. Shannon throws to the end zone, and it's incomplete, falls harmlessly to the grass.
Dangerous throw. He didn't have Roby. What he did have is 2 Cheltenham defenders, including deep safety help. That's a throw we saw Shannon make a couple times last year and get picked off. We don't like seeing that from him. I prefer to see Shannon Mayer where he is at his best, making good, solid, deep throws with discipline. That's the key for young quarterbacks, discipline.
Yeah, I think one stat besides Sheldon Mayer that stands out to me, if you had to say why are the Eagles 3-0, Shannon Mayer, 0 interceptions. And it's not like he hasn't thrown the ball. They've opened it up at times, and he's just managed the game extremely well. 4 wide receivers, including Evan Battaglio. Just Tracy Presley in the backfield. Dinolfi in the slot as a wide receiver. Mayer takes the snap, throws near sideline to Battaglio, avoids a tackle. He's at the 5, breaks a tackle, and gets all the way down to the 2-yard line.
Nice play, good pass. Battaglio in the red zone, Mark, exactly as you said. That's where you use him. He's a big target. He's bigger than just about everybody else on the field. He's bigger than all of Cheltenham's linemen. And Mayer makes a nice throw. He has a strong arm, a laser. He has a cannon for an arm.
And of course, Evan Battaglio, with that strength, breaking several tackles, eluding defenders. And if the Eagles don't get points out of this, I mean, I don't know what they are going to get points out of. Sheldon Mayer finally back into the game. They'll hand it off to Presley, straight ahead, and he's got the touchdown. 6-0 Eagles.
Presley, the star of the game so far, by leaps and bounds. Yeah, Battaglio had the nice passing. They've been playing well. Shannon Mayer's been playing well. Sheldon's been playing well. But Tracy Presley has been doing everything. He's been getting tough yards up the middle, and that powerful block on that last drive that sprung Mayer for those big yards. Tracy Presley, you are the man.
And I mean, you've spotlighted that fullback position a number of different times, and it's really underrated, especially in a high school game where you can use it as the Eagles have been. And it's a big reason why they're up in this game, of course, as you mentioned. And the extra point is up and good from Jared Fox. It's been a struggle, but this one's good.
You can't see it at home, but I just raised my hand to, I guess it was disbelief, right?
You're speechless.
I'm speechless. A converted extra point that, happened. It's 7-0. Do you know how many times I've said that? It's been very few.
Yeah, that one flawlessly executed. The snap, the hold, the kick, all perfect.
Do you realize, Mark, that I have lost my ability to multiply things by 7? I could do it by 6. I could do it by 8. But I really can't. My times tables, that 7 spot is just a blank space in my mind. I might have to relearn that skill.
So the Eagles have the 7-0 lead on the Tracy Presley 2-yard touchdown plunge. I'm Mark Holodinsky along with Dave Fazzini. You're watching NASD TV. It's homecoming here at Roosevelt Field, with the Eagles hosting the Cheltenham Panthers, and as I just mentioned, a 7-0 lead. Taylor Hillenbrand set to kick it off for the Eagles. We've seen him use Stewart in past weeks, but now going with Hillenbrand.
And this is a side note, Mark, there are well over 1,000 people.
Oh, yeah. A low line drive kick, fielded on the bounce. Up the middle and all the way up to about the 35 goes Eric Wooders on a very nice return of a line drive kick.
That's too much. Boyd had a bead on the ball carrier, but he was not able to get there in time. Wasn't really his play to make because the ball was going to the opposite side, but still I'm impressed by Boyd's speed. But it would have been nice if he could have made that play 10 yards back.
Ball at the 36-yard line. 1st and 10. 7 minutes and 13 seconds to go before halftime. We'll see Kenneth Cropper and the rest of the Cheltenham offense one more time trying to tie the score. They bring a man in motion over to the near side. Here's Cropper with pressure in his face, and it's deflected and incomplete, intended for number 7, Dan Rouse, but the Eagles got pressure and a deflection.
Nice play by number 78, Terrence Edwards, to bat that one down. Terrence, while 245 pounds, is only 5'10", so it's a testament to his leaping ability, I suppose. I mean, you wouldn't think somebody 5'10", 245 would be noted for his leaping ability, but Terrence got up there on that one. And that's what they teach you as a defensive lineman. Keep your hands up when that quarterback's going back to throw, because you never know what can happen.
Yeah, and Edwards has had a bunch of them this year. That's not his first, and it's certainly not his last either. I think he's got to lead the team in that category. And as you said, it's surprising.
He stands up and stays at home and does his job. He's a good, solid man in the middle for the Eagles.
Certainly is. Cropper again with Rouse in motion. Hands it off. That's Eric Waters on the carry.
It's obvious that Cheltenham respects Edwards because on that play he was triple teamed. and they blew him out of the middle, but he was triple teamed. So the only thing really you could do as a defensive lineman is hit the deck and try to clog up the hole. Edwards got a little bit high, so they were able to manipulate him out. Good piece of running by Cheltenham, but it only netted him 4 yards.
And that's what the great run stoppers do. It might not be the most glorious position, but if you can eat up the inside like that, attract multiple blockers, you're doing your job.
And they got 4 yards because Edwards ate up 3 blockers.
Cropper hands it off to Waters. A big hole and a good tackle by Antonolfi, but not before Waters picks up the first down.
Good open field tackle. They had everything else. They let too much go on. Where were the linebackers there on that play? The Eagles linebackers there were invisible. They've got to do a better job than that.
But that was excellent closing speed displayed by Antonolfi on that play.
Antonolfi, like his brother Alex, is a hitter. Those two guys, very hard-nosed. They have good closing speed, and they both love to hit. So he's carrying on the family name and bringing the pain as well.
So the slow-paced, grinded-out game continues, and the Panthers run it for a gain of about 0. We've seen very few big plays and a lot of grinded-out style, and it's continuing right here.
Looks like number 74, Chris Exum, on the play there. He's one of the Eagles' stars in the weight room. Big guy, strong kid, and he brings some punishment there in the middle, adding a nice compliment to Edwards. He's a little bit faster than Edwards, not quite as big, doesn't quite take up as much space, but still, nice work.
And this defensive line, I mean, it's very deep and it's very balanced. You can't really take one player away and then be effective because they have so many different guys. I mean, Smith, Battaglia. I mean, they could rotate guys off the bench and still have 4 more than solid, capable guys out there. Back to pass is Cropper, steps up in the pocket. He'll try to run it, but he's brought down for the sack.
There's Exum again. We're calling his name a lot.
Christian Big Bad Exum, as he likes to be called, on the sack. And you mentioned how much of an animal he is in the weight room. And finally getting his chance to shine here in his senior year, doing a heck of a job.
2 great plays right in a row. Strong guy, nice kid, making some real solid plays here at historic Roosevelt Field. 4:40 left to go in the first half. Mark, this has been a blazingly fast first half.
Oh yeah, with all the running that's been going on and the lack of big plays and lack of incomplete passes and flags, it's been going at a very fast pace. I actually talked to Christian Exum today. He told me he was going to get a sack. He said he's been coming close several times, and now he finally gets it. They flip it to Waters, and that play doesn't come close to the first down.
Play again by Exum. Eats up 2 blockers, prevents the lead backer from getting out there to make that play. The kid is having a great series.
So now the dangerous duo of Dinolfi and Mayer is back to field the punt. Dinolfi, of course, with that touchdown on the return in the opening game. 3 returns this year of punts for 124 yards, and then, of course, that 89-yarder is the majority of that. A low line drive punt, which you said they should stay away from. Mayer fields it. He breaks to the outside. He's got the 30. Mayer could be gone. A great block by Ant Roby for the last man that Mayer has to beat. He's at the 5. Touchdown, Sheldon Mayer.
Doing that is dumb. Stop!
Yeah, you did call that. You told them not to do it. They did it anyway, and now they're paying the price.
Why do you do that?
And you look like a genius.
Kick it high. I don't want to say that I'm a genius, but certainly the Nostradamus prediction there was truly fearsome to behold. You kick line drives through the Eagles' return men, they get returns for touchdowns. It's a self-evident axiom. Great run by Sheldon Mayer and spectacular blocking. Could not be drawn up any better than that.
And a heck of a block by Ant Roby on the end of that play. Mayer only had 1 man to beat, but Roby took care of that. And Fox adds the extra point flawlessly once again.
I am relearning how to multiply by 7.
And what a start after the Eagles. In that first quarter, I was starting to get a little worried. They weren't doing anything. They had that one kind of long drive. It wasn't very Eagles-like, and it resulted in 0 points. But, boy, now 14 points in this quarter. They're back. No worries.
I don't want to say no worries just yet, because
It's a long way to go.
still the second half.
Oh, yeah.
The Eagles have sometimes, they haven't done it this year, except in the Northeast game.
Right.
In the Northeast game, they let them come back and they opened the door. But Cheltenham's got to do a better job on special teams.
Hillenbrand once again to kick it off. So there's that big play, Eagles touchdown machine that we've grown accustomed to. And of course, Mayer with 5 rushing touchdowns last week. Now throw in a punt return touchdown. He's caught a touchdown pass, returned a punt for a touchdown, and ran for several. I believe 8.
He has to return a kick for a touchdown.
I'm sure we'll see it too, and probably an interception too. Here comes Eric Waters. Pass to the 20 and up to the 25 and finally brought down there. Great coverage.
C.J. Douglas, great. Mark, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. All facets of the Eagles game Sunday have clicked into place. The offense with a great drive.
No doubt.
The special teams on the return end and on the coverage end have clicked into place. And Cheltenham's got to do something in a hurry in order to counteract this.
Getting this big crowd here at Roosevelt pumped up. I know I'm pumped up because it really is. Like something just turned on with them. Everything's been going right over the past 5 or 6 minutes.
And what I do now is send the farm. I go for the kill.
Robbins and Bloomer, the tackles, and Battaglia and Smith on the ends. We mentioned how they can rotate in and out so many players, and they hand it off and get a minimal gain. I mean, Exum and Edwards, who were such vital parts of that defensive drive last drive, aren't even on the field yet.
There were 2 blockers eaten up by number 63, Nick Bloomer, rotating those tackles in, and that allowed Collazo to make that tackle after a 4-yard gain. Linebackers have to do a little bit better job collapsing. Now, Collazo, to be fair, he has 3 tackles in this game, and he's looked very good. But the other linebackers, they've got to step up a little bit. When Cheltenham's been gaining yards, it's been predominantly on the linebacker's back.
I form for the Panthers. Cropper drops back to throw, and he pumps a fake. Now steps up into the pocket. He's going to run, and he gets the first down and is knocked out. And a nice run by Cropper.
That looked like a little bit of a block in the back action, but it was a really nice run. So good play. Good play by Cropper.
We mentioned how Cropper is like Shannon Mayer and that they're both sophomores. And also another similarity, their ability to run with the football and be dangerous with their legs. I mean, we talk about it so much with Shannon Mayer, and it seems like a bunch of their opponents so far have had quarterbacks like that. And it's certainly fun to watch from my point of view. But a dangerous thing that the Eagles defense has to account for.
Now, the Eagles defense normally has the closing speed to be able to counteract, but because of the heavy pass rush on that play, there was nobody to the outside to contain. And you can't pin that all on the defense. I mean, a lot of that is on Cropper's shoulders doing a really nice job running. But still, stay at home.
That's one of the biggest plays on the day for Cheltenham, just a testament to how good Norristown's defense has been, and they get another sack here. A number of blue jerseys in on that.
Big 65, Marcus Robbins. He's always telling me not to call him Baskin Robbins. But it's, I mean, like the nickname is so good, but it's so anti-him. I don't know what I'm going to do with that.
I know the defensive line likes to give themselves the names, the Bears, and they're all a different bear.
I like to give my own nicknames. But I know, yeah, the Eagles defensive line has been calling himself the Bears, but Marcus Robbins, he wasn't soft. He wasn't soft on that one at all.
Yeah, what bear would Marcus Robbins be?
He'd be the grizzly bear. He just broke through that line, and grizzly bears are notoriously the most violent bears of all.
2nd and 16. We're under 2 minutes to go now at about 1:33, and then it'll be halftime. They hand it off, and Waters picks up the original line of scrimmage and a little bit more. It'll be 3rd and about 7. We'll call it 3rd and 6. And the clock running, 1:12. The Cheltenham Panthers should start picking up the pace.
No real sense of urgency. We just go home. Another day where we're down by 14. A minute left in the half.
And I mean,
we'll go in and have some Gatorade.
they're only on the 44-yard line, their own 44-yard line at that. And now whistles. timeout, maybe? Timeout taken by the Eagles.
Certainly an unconventional strategy, but I guess Coach Smith wants to keep it fair.
Well, so clearly there's some kind of confusion. I mean, I don't know what it could have been. But, I mean, you're certainly catering to the needs of the Panthers in a sense that they're trying to pick up some points in limited time before the half. But, I mean, obviously there's something that E.J. Smith felt needed to be corrected before the snap. I don't know what exactly happened, but
54 seconds left. Cheltenham showed no proclivity to do big plays. I don't know what there is to worry about. In fact, they're already starting the ignitions like that. Looks like Tony Stewart at Talladega out there with all those fancy cars you see. He's getting ready to run around the track here at historic Roosevelt Field in the time-honored tradition of the homecoming parade of talent.
yeah, that parade at halftime will certainly be something. But first, the Eagles' defense has to finish up business on the field.
Looks like they're playing the old Kingsman hit Tequila over there with their robust horn section.
The Eagles band preparing to perform at halftime off of the sidelines. But here's the Cheltenham offense. They'll hand it off. This is Lester. He's got the first down and more. There's a flag, though.
That's a hole.
No doubt. And that'll make it 3rd and long. So the Eagles may get a chance to, if nothing else, return a punt.
If it's another line drive punt, it's coming back for 6.
I mean, even if that's all they can do is just get a chance for a punt return, I mean, we've already seen the damage they could do with that. In fact, if I'm Cheltenham, I'm kicking it out of bounds.
If I'm Cheltenham, I'm kicking it out of bounds, or I'm throwing it out of bounds.
Well, it's 3rd and 11, so let's see if the Eagles defense could do the job first before we worry about any of that.
Why? It's much more fun to wildly speculate without any evidence. I feel good about my predictions so far. Most of them have come to fruition, so I'm just going to say nonsense for the next 54 seconds.
They come out with 3 wide receivers, though. They will pass, try to pick it up. Battaglio in the face of Cropper, and he's wrapped up and sacked.
Just when you think things can't get much worse, they do. Cheltenham should just take a knee. Well, they cannot take a knee, but like I said, I was talking nonsense. But let the time run out. The wheels have come off the bus.
So the Eagles out of timeouts. Watch the half expire. But they got to be satisfied with their performance, mainly in the second quarter where they scored all their points. A Tracy Presley 2-yard touchdown plunge and a long Sheldon Mayer punt return touchdown, and it has the Eagles up 14-0.
I am thoroughly impressed, Mark. And as we leave you at halftime, 14-0. Spectacular job by the Eagles. Cheltenham looks dejected, and we'll be back with some marching band action.